what are you doing with this?
I was going to ask you the same thing.
You're going to ring that bell and open this session. Did you do that yet?
No.
Why don't you walk over there and do it, man? This is a big deal. We're going to open general session number 2. Yeah. Thank you, Rod Bieber. Step up here, guys, into the frame. Rod, you're going to be governor in just a little bit, and how are you feeling about the assignment? You've had a chance to train now for over a year.
Feeling great. We had a wonderful session last night after the breakout, and we've got a great group of presidents coming in. And I see my role is just to help them do great in their job and hopefully not mess things up too badly.
Very good. And you're working too, right? What do you do during the day?
I work with, I'm an agent with New York Life, been there with only 35 years, and still active and still involved with the community.
Very good, nice to hear. Paul Wiese, Rod Bieber, by the way, everybody. And your district?
6310.
6310 in the house. And this is Paul Wiese. He's going to be governor right after Rod, and we can see the solidarity and the congruency in the succession of the leadership in your district. We've had a chance to get to know each other quite a bit, and I admire you and what you're doing. What are you most excited about as you take the helm of Rotary, your Rotary district, in another year?
I think it's just the amount of growth I've seen since I started in 15 with Rotary. It's not been that long. So it's pretty amazing to see the youth involvement, the amount of younger people joining, and really the education standpoint of what Rotary is.
Yeah, well said. Rod, tell us about your home life. You got family? What's going on?
I have 2 kids, a daughter and a son, a wife who works at home writing music, and she has her music played all over the world. And wow. And I'm a violinist, play with the Saginaw Bay Symphony Orchestra, direct the youth orchestra in town, do a couple programs on the public radio station, direct a church choir. Is that enough? And then on Tuesday,
we don't have a script. He just came up with that. And then on Tuesday, did you see the movie Maestro?
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, of all people, man, you got to see it. Bradley Cooper does Leonard Bernstein. It's an amazing rendition. I hear you talking about playing the violin, which is a kind of a dexterity manual thing. I hear you talking about being a conductor, and I noticed that you may have a little condition of some sort. Tell everybody what's going on.
Yeah, a couple years ago, I was diagnosed with having Parkinson's. And the first, when that happened, I thought, oh, woe was me, and life is over, and blah, blah, blah. And then I thought, you know, there's so many people that deal with issues every day, and it's more, honestly, it's more of an inconvenience, and it just pisses me off sometimes that I have it. Can I say that?
I got nothing.
Yeah, I'm good.
A little aside to the audience and a question for you. Most of you, you know, when the governor comes in, it's a fantastic thing. You celebrate your governor, and then you find out, well, the governor's not perfect. What's wrong with you?
Honey, do you want to come up here and answer that question?
Brandy Wiese, Paul's wife, is here. It's nice to see so many partners here and wives and spouses, and I think it's fantastic, husbands. So we got a little bit of business to do, guys, and Paul, you're going to kick us off with an inspirational moment. You're going to want to use the lectern mic for that, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, step over there, and why don't we stand over here? It's, Rod, it occurs to me as we work through the training and the different things we want the president-elects to know, that everybody here is going to be giving more speeches next year. The presidents are going to be giving 50 more speeches than they gave the year before, plus 12 BODs. What are those? Board of Directors meetings, that's right. And of course, the governor gives a lot of visits, club visits. And so, Rod, I thought it would be fun if we taught and helped them, remind them of some techniques, speaking techniques that would help them get their game on. What do you say?
I say let's do it.
Let's do it. So first things first, it's a little mic technique. So I'm using a handheld mic, and there's a sweet spot, ladies and gentlemen. You can kind of hear it as the mic comes closer and closer. Do you hear it yet? it's going to get sweeter and sweeter and sweeter and sweeter. And at some point, it's too much, maybe. So you pull it back a little bit. And I'm showing you the distance because it's proximity. And this is called the voice of God or goddess. And when you're using a microphone, you want to do that. You can use it with any microphone. Right now, Rod is using the lectern microphone, so he can get as close. And you do the same technique now.
Hello.
Yeah.
It's the voice of God.
Well, it's a very quiet God,
And here.
Rod. Put some steak on the grill, man. You're greeting your Rotary Club.
Good evening. Is it evening?
No, it's morning.
It's morning. I knew that.
It's Tuesday.
Good morning. I had a busy Monday.
So another technique that you can use anytime you're at the microphone, you're usually engaging other people. So an easy technique is it's called the sun coming up, and it's easy to do when you're not, your hands are free. And so if I'm going to do it with a handheld, I just do it like this. Good morning, Rotarians. Good morning. Okay, you didn't have to answer me, but thank you. But when I say good morning, Rotarians, it's the sun coming up, you see. And if I wasn't using a microphone, I could do it this way, right? So how would you do it if you're using the lectern microphone?
Good morning, Rotarians.
That's it. And it's a small little thing, but it adds, and there's something about motion that makes your face come alive, man. If you could raise your eyebrows, look at... Okay. Don't scare the people, Rod. So it's good morning, Rotarians. Your face opens up, your eyebrows come up, the big smile. That's second technique. Mic technique, then this technique. The gesture can serve you in other ways, too. Usually you're going to ask for feedback from the audience or call on somebody in the audience. You always gesture to them. You don't say, yeah, you, or, Joe. You say, hey, Joe, what's on your mind today? And then Joe would, and we're seeing some of the speakers on stage do that today when we bring people on or when we thank people, right? A little bit of a gesture. So it's very helpful, very subtle, but it's the kind of things that help influence people. So this is what we're doing. Tell you what, let's introduce the first, I'm going to stand with you here while you do this. We're going to introduce the keynote speaker this morning. And you can try some of these techniques as you read the introduction. Sound good?
Perfect.
Okay, let's give it a go. I'll be
I
your
mean,
coach.
perfect. Well, it's time to introduce our keynote speaker. Our next speaker is well known on the Rotary circuit. He has keynoted countless zone events and has spoken at Rotary International Conventions in Australia, Thailand, California, and Korea. He most recently spoke at the giant Pacific Northwest Pets in Seattle. This gentleman is a professional communicator who teaches presentation skills to leaders and sales teams at companies like Hallmark, AT&T, Bank of America, Verizon Wireless, Rayovac, the National Institute of Health, and Barbados Ministry of Tourism. He is married to Rotarian and past Troy Rotary President Rene, who's our stage manager. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Michael Angelo Caruso.
I love you, man. You're the best.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll see you in a minute.
Okay.
Rod Bieber, everybody. Thank you. Some things just turn out better than you ever hoped when you're in front of people, and sometimes things aren't going to go so well. You know that, right? Let's talk about some ways that you can become an even more effective club president. You're going to be getting so many tips from Doug Logan on membership, Mary Loof on public image, Ingrid from Foundation on how to improve your club in so many ways. Participation, giving, growing the club. You're going to be so excited when you go back to your club, and you're going to be vibrating with electricity, to share all this information. And your club's not going to want to do any of this crap. So you're going to need a couple persuasion tools. Can we agree on that? You've got something in your club called traditionalists. That's the nice word that we use to describe them. Traditionalists. Raise your hand if you can imagine a traditionalist in your club. Yeah, they're around. We need them. We want them to be happy. But we can't have them run the show in a changing world. And that's where you go back and you persuade them to try these new ideas. Now, one of the techniques for this is when you suggest a new idea, they're going to say, oh, no, that's going to ruin the club. We won't do it. And your response is, let's just try it for 90 days. Say it with me. Let's just try it for 90 days. Beautiful. Now, what are they going to say? Now, what can they say to that? It's a binary question. They could say yes or they could say no. So you want to put a little juice on it. It's a yes question, so you nod your head yes as you ask the yes question. Let's try it again. Let's just try it for 90 days. And then you might say, is that okay with you, right? Now, interesting thing about nodding your head yes. When you nod your head yes, it's very difficult for people to disagree with you. In fact, I'm going to ask you a yes question right now, and I want you to tell me no, but I want you to nod your head yes. Tell me no. Did I say that right? Yeah, tell me no, but nod your head yes. Do you like skiing? The brain, like it doesn't compute. And that's how powerful persuasion is. If you say, let's just try it for 90 days. Does that sound good to you? I mean, it's hard not to go there with you. You'll have some people that are holdouts, but they're professional holdouts. It'll work out just fine. So this is part of the idea for persuading people. I had the pleasure of emceeing this segment last year. And by the way, my slide was up a minute ago, and I believe it said Rotary Club of Saginaw. Is that correct? Yeah, I'm in the Rotary Club of Troy. And again, a lot of details happening that you'll never know about in a production like this. And I wouldn't correct the Saginaw slide, except my club members are here and they'll be pissed. So I wanted to update you on a couple things that have happened. One is a little event that I did. It was kind of fun. It's instructive. And the other is a life-changing moment. I want to share those with you right now. This event that I did was a 5K run, and it was in January in Michigan. It was in Rochester, Michigan, and it was like 10 degrees that day, very, very cold day. We showed up down for the race, and it starts, and I'm not a big runner, but I like to exercise, and I just thought, and I thought I would bail if the weather wasn't any good, but it was a bright, pristine day, and so there's probably 1,000 people running. They're crazy people. And as I'm starting to run, I start to think to myself, because I got nothing else to do, I'm just thinking. And I'm thinking about why nobody did this in 1984. This is like a 2024 thing. In 84, nobody ran in Michigan. Nobody did 5Ks. What changed? What shifted? One of the things that shifted was the gear got better, right? Another thing that shifted was a thing called extreme sports. You never heard those two words together in 1984, but you hear them a lot now. And it's important to identify change, especially if you're managing any kind of an organization or president of a club. You got to be out on the lookout for change. I got nothing to do during this little race, so I'm just trying to, think about stuff. It's an interesting thing to run. Do we have any runners in the audience? You get by yourself. Martin Parnell is going to talk about running tomorrow morning. I know that Andreski was on stage, Mark talking about running the other day. When you run, you get inside your own head because there's nothing else to do. You're not looking at your electronics, it's just you and the road. And your mind, goes. And I'm running, and I notice there's a lot of dogs in this 5K, which is surprising since dogs don't understand the metric system. Guy over here said, I don't get it. An interesting thing about the dog, if you take a dog on a 5K, the dog's got business, right? So it's going to affect your time. And there's a couple stops along the way. And then I start noticing there's a lot of people carrying plastic bags in this race. The most educated society in the history of civilization, we're still carrying around bags of poop. Whatever. Bunch of stuff happened. It's interesting to me. There's a gentleman that's running over here, and he's got kind of an unusual gait, which I don't think much about. You see all kinds of people. But he looks like maybe he has an affliction. And I'm drawn to people like this for two reasons. One is when I see somebody running like this, I know it's probably painful. This is never plan A to run like this. The other thing is I like people that are like a challenge, like to push themselves. I'm drawn to people like that. And also, I've spent a lot of time with this polio campaign, and I start thinking, I wonder if he has polio. So another thing that is instructive about this little event that I did is I got to exercise a thing called the reach out. And the reach out's very powerful if you're going to come into a club presidency, because everybody wants to meet the president, even of your 6-member club. Somebody comes to visit the club, they want to meet the president. And if you don't meet that person, there's a little level of disappointment. It's a less than experience. So don't bury yourself in your PPT and all your problems, you know, talk to your own people. The president greets everybody that comes into the club. It's important. And you say, I'm the president of the club. Thank you for coming. So I'm going to reach out to the gentleman with the interesting running style, and I kind of sidle up next to him, and we're talking. And I want to know what's going on, but I can't ask directly. That would be rude. If he wants to tell me, he will. So we're doing the thing, and I'm just chatting. I said, how you doing today? Nice, open, generic question. And he looks at me, and a big smile on his face. Looks uncomfortable. He's got a big smile, and he says, great. I go, okay, great, good to hear. You run 5Ks often? He says, oh, yeah, I run a lot. It seems like, how you doing today? How's this going for you? He says, well, not so good. Okay, I'm gonna get some intel now. Not so good. I sprained my ankle last Friday, and it's bothering me. I said, no, that's not it. Guess again. I never did find out why he ran like that. Never did, because, you know, in these races, you know, you come up with somebody and you leave them and never saw them again. But I did the reach out. We had a moment. Another reach out. Sweatshirt in front of me. You ever see somebody with a T-shirt on? You can't quite read it, but you're determined this is going to be a good T-shirt. I'm going to find out what this says. That's how I was, because I got nothing else to do. So I start gaining on this person so I can actually read it. I'm close enough now. Still not close enough. Oh, boy, I'm closer. And now I have another problem. She's bouncing up and down. I'm bouncing up and down. I still can't read it. So I get so close I can touch her shoulder, and I'm able to read it. And the sweatshirt says, true story, dear person behind me. The world is a better place with you in it. Love the person in front of you. And that made me mad. So I passed her. And this other moment that I want to tell you about was a showstopper, life-changing moment. I got married in July. Come on, say hi. Let's do this. Yeah, come on. Don't shake your head no to me. Would you like to come out and say hi? Rene Caruso, everybody. I was single for 4 decades. That's all you need to know. And getting married was easier than running the 5K. Being married is a lot like being a club president. It can take a few months to get used to it. I want you to be patient when you get back to your club, because your people were not at this event where they got inspired. They're mired in what's happening now, and you're going to have to bring this enthusiasm with you back to the club and indoctrinate them and change the culture in order for your club to change itself and grow. But you can do it. Can you do it? Yes. I think you can. Okay. I want to give you 5 ways that you can do it, and they are 5 M's, everybody. We're going to start with something called mission. Your club must have something to do. I'm going to bring on a guest speaker here in just a minute. It's going to give you something to do, because if the club doesn't have something to do, they're lost. They're just ambling. They're just getting through it, you know. So give them a mission, and the mission is your vision. And don't make it too big, but don't make it too small. Better to be a little bit oversized than undersized, but the mission is super important. The second M, is members. Members. And you do it through this reach out process that I just told you about, where you're reaching out to people. Why? To invite them to the club, to come to a service event, to speak at the club, right? Very important. And so when you get really good at that reach out, people just gravitate towards you, and by proxy, they would be gravitating towards your club. So that's called the reach out. The third M is marketing. You've got to get better at marketing, and you've got to find a platform that really vibrates for you. Now, it could be email, but what's the problem with email? People don't open it sometimes, right? It could be Facebook. What's the problem with Facebook? A lot of people aren't on Facebook, right? It could be group texting. That's problematic. It's just, now everybody's getting the same text, and you get all those ripple texts that come after the fact. So you got to get really good at one. Try to find one that you can really connect with people and get a good response rate. Super important. But having said that, you want to be on as many platforms as you can because you want to cater to other people's needs. Mission, members, marketing. The fourth one is money. The club can't do anything with money. I don't like it when people say our Rotary should be free. We shouldn't have to pay dues. Tell you what, let's not have a meal when we come to Rotary. Let's not meet anymore either. You see what happens? And I want to tell you something, and I think it was Peters, the author Peters, that said, Tom Peters, an organization cannot shrink its way to success. Every time your club tells you we need to start eliminate something, you push back because you cannot succeed by getting smaller automatically. There are cases where you could do better if you're smaller. But if we don't solve this membership thing, the first thing Evanston's going to start doing is cutting programs. We will have lost the critical mass necessary to sustain all those favorite programs that you love. So far, so good. I was a member of the Optimists for a while. When the Optimists were having troubles, they were teetering on bankruptcy, and they were slashing programs, and people were complaining. But they all had warning shots. And we've been warned about what's happening with membership. We need to do our part in the Rotary world, particularly in North America, and maybe specifically in your club. Mission, members, marketing, money. By the way, how many of you have grant experience? When I say grant experience, you wrote the grant or helped deliver the grant to your club. Hands up. Excellent. How many have not done this? Hands up. This must change. And I'm not going to give you a speech on this right now. There's great programs here about grants. I just want you to write a little hashtag, okay? Hashtag free money. Right? She knows. So this is the idea. Look into grants, and then you have money to spend and do good with your club activity. The final M is movement, and what I mean by movement is a succession plan. So we work really hard to get PEs to come to this program, and our real dream scenario is to get PNs to come to this program, because now we have a succession. You'll see we're careful to bring on the governor yesterday, the governor-elect, and the governor nominee, because we have that kind of succession. That means everybody's on the same page. We already switch leaders every year. We can't afford to be switching agendas every year, too. It's too confusing. So get a 5-year plan together and make it so that you know the next president doesn't make up their own game. Make it a condition of the presidency that you're okay with these 3 things that we're doing. If they're not going to do it, you're going to lose those initiatives. It's called, in HR, it's called condition of employment. I do a lot of leadership talks for organizations and such. Condition of employment, that's where I learned the phrase. So there you go. Also, I think it's worth noting that many of you have what we call inherited issues. Raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about. Inherited issues. Yeah. So maybe the president before you was less than. Maybe the club had a membership hit last year. Used to be COVID was an issue for everybody. Whatever the issue is, I want you to stop blaming COVID for your club's pre-existing conditions. You had a lot of these issues before COVID, man. So it's a little disingenuous to blame the pandemic for something that happened a long time before that. So if your club has been on that kind of a track, whatever it is, get back on the good side of the bed and get things moving again by not blaming COVID. When you get ready to decide what to do in your club, there'll be people that disagree on what to do. We all agree on what to do, But how to do it sometimes, maybe, is more challenging. So when you get that kind of a problem, you want to use a technique from Jeff Bezos in his days at Amazon. The board meeting and all these smart people, deciding, and they're arguing about what the best way to go is, how much should we raise Amazon Prime this year? And they would all debate, and Bezos would sit there listening politely, and there was no idea about who was going to win this debate, but he would always point to an empty chair at the board table. It's called the empty chair. It's a thing. Google it. The empty chair represented who? The customer. So when your club's going toe-to-toe on an issue, point to the empty chair and say, are we doing what's best for our members? Or an even better question and a harder question to answer, are we doing what's right for our visitors and potential members? That's a harder one to dial in. What does the visitor want to see in order to join the club? Because that's sometimes different than what the members want to see. Very interesting. And if you really want to get into this, ask yourself this question. Who's your real customer? Members or visitors? Because if you make the members completely happy, but the visitors don't like what they see, what's going to happen? Nobody joins. And if you make the visitors completely happy, but the members are all angry, what are the members going to do? They're going to leave. Where's the Venn diagram with the members and the visitors? What makes both people happy? That's the sweet spot. That's where you want to spend your time. Okay. I want to give you a couple more quick techniques, and then we're going to do something fun with certain type of people in the room. Then I'm going to bring my guest speaker around. I want to give you some more tips for this idea of collaboration and bringing people closer together, some communication techniques. 3, and then you're going to do them in this order, okay? I want you to smile more as a president than you did as a non-president, and that's going to be a challenge. I teach public speaking, everybody. Some of you know this. I have an online coaching program, and I help speakers get on the circuit. I help authors sell their books. I help salespeople close more deals. And these are the techniques I teach them. I think you'll find them very helpful as president. The first one is to smile, right? Now, the problem with smiling in a public speaking setting is that it's a very unnatural thing to stand here in front of 450 people. Like, most people don't do this every day. So when you come out here, your goal is to be authentic, but you can't be authentic because you're not feeling natural. And that's the first problem. Now, if you're a salesperson or a persuader, you're trying to sell this 450-person audience, but you're coming across as inauthentic. Not good. Now, it doesn't have to be 450, by the way. It could be a club of 45. It could be 4.5 members, and you're uneasy. But you got the playover is you smile even though you're feeling uncomfortable. You play over the discomfort as a speaker. So smile more than you think you should. Second technique is I want you to develop more rapport with your club members. As president, you're going to need people to do stuff that you didn't need them to do before. And the only reason people say yes to you is if they have rapport with you. Some will do it out of duty, but if you have rapport with people, they'll just line up to help you. It'll be a pleasure. Pleasure, not a pressure to help you, right? So rapport. Now, how do you build rapport with somebody that you've known for 4 years? Well, let me ask you a couple of questions. You know they have kids, right? Do you know how many kids they have? Let's just talk about kids. Do you know what the gender mix of the kids, boys versus girls? Do you know that? Do you know the names of the children of the guy you've been having lunch with every Wednesday for 5 years? Do you know their ages? Do you know the dog's name? Do you know if they have a dog? Do you know the spouse's name? It's not hard to find this stuff out, but you have to show interest. Show interest in others before they show interest in you. That's the technique for rapport. Everybody else is busy doing their Rotary thing. You're not going to talk about anything else except the person you're talking to. And you ask questions in a 5-to-1 ratio, and you will get rapport like this. It's like magic. But you have to make time for it. And as president, you got a lot of stuff going on. You got a lot of balls in the air. So, smile, rapport, and the third one's the most difficult, and this is empathy. Empathy is a challenge in a fast-paced world because we don't have time for empathy anymore. Empathy is knowing or thinking you know or identifying with how the other person feels. But what has to happen in order for you to do that? You got to talk to them. And we don't talk anymore, do we? I probably 5 people in my life I can have extended telephone conversations with anymore, if I can get them on the phone at all. It's probably the same with you. It's a quick text, get it done, out, right? People want to do 20 texts before they have a long phone call, or 30 texts. Look at your text stream sometime, the nonsense, right? And no nutrition in it. But when you call somebody and you ask them, your wife was sick last week, what's going on? Everything better now? You said you have to have surgery coming up. Tell me about it. I'm interested. And they'll give you the time. But it takes time to get time. Okay, I want to do something fun. I want to bring up some attention to some people in the room, special people. Can we get the house lights up for this? It would be great. I want to have everybody in the room. Let's start with the young people. Everybody in the room that's under 50. Please stand up. Under 50. Wow. Remain standing. Remain standing. That's pretty cool, eh? If you're under 40, remain standing. Under 40. Do you know why people are applauding you? Because they hate you. If you're under 35, remain standing. If you're under 35, come up on stage with me. Got to come around this way. Come around, see Rene. Come on. Under 35, here they come. I have done this exercise all over the world at Rotary events. Yeah, okay, good. You can go around the side there, Taylor. Go behind the curtain, it's easier. Thank you. Thanks for your patience. We want people to get eyes on you because you like unicorns, man. It's interesting to me that we covet young people. Yeah, you're probably going to have to stand shoulder to shoulder. We covet young people in Rotary, but we don't work really hard to get them. We just talk about working really hard to get them. We don't actually do anything. For instance, it's come to my attention through articles and research, all kinds of stuff about this, that young people like attention, and Rotary has cleverly found a way not to give it to them. So I figured out a way to give it to them, and we just isolated you by age demographic, and here you are. Have a look at your under 35s. You got people taking pictures of you like you're at the zoo. 2 steps forward, please. This is what tight skin looks like, ladies and gentlemen. What is your name, and what do you do for a living?
My name's Katie, and I just recently started at Bruce Power as a radiation protection.
Welcome. Congratulations. Are you going to be a club president?
Yes, sir.
Maybe most of you. Hands up if you're going to be club president. A lot of you. Okay, very good. Hi, Taylor. Tell everybody what you do for work.
I am a design engineer for Stryker.
Yeah, and Taylor's going to be our keynote speaker this evening because we want you to see how the young people roll, and Taylor's a role model. She's going to show you tonight at dinner. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. What's your name?
Emily.
And what do you do, Emily?
I work for Habitat for Humanity. No.
Thank you very much for all you do. Hello.
Hi, I'm Tara.
Yes, you are. What do you do, Tara?
I'm a development director for a nonprofit.
Yeah. And you like it?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. And you're with the Rotary, which is a nonprofit. You got a soft spot for nonprofits, don't you?
I do.
Yeah, good for you. Hi, how are you? What's your name?
I'm Charlie.
Yeah, what do you do, Charlie?
I'm an Army logistics officer.
Army Logistics Officer. Let's have lunch. Your name and what do you do?
Daniel, I'm a commercial insurance agent.
Commercial insurance. Bravo. You like it?
I love it.
Are you good at it?
Yes.
Okay, easy, man. I already have an account. I already have an insurance guy. James.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. James, it's my interview. I actually like that. Look how assertive he was, reaching out to me, asking questions. Are you building rapport? Yeah. What do you do for work?
So the company I own produces community events, so festivals and concert kind of stuff.
You own your own company?
Yep.
Where are you from?
Well, I grew up in Novi, but I am part of the Plymouth Club.
Beautiful. Well, he owns his own company. How old are you?
34.
Wow. Good for you. Hey, Emily.
Hello.
What do you do, please?
I work IT for the state of Michigan.
Are you the only one?
No, I'm a pretty good group.
Because I tried to get on a state of Michigan website this week, and it seems like you might be the only one, Emily. Thank you for all the good that you do. Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
What's your story?
I'm Liz, and I'm the club administrator for Traverse City, Michigan.
All right, Traverse City. Traverse City in the house. Yeah, we're here somewhere. Hello, how are you?
Good. My name's Kylie.
Hi, Kylie. I'm Michael. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
And are you a student or do you work?
I'm currently a junior at Eastern Michigan. I'm studying criminal justice, and I work at a daycare in Pinckney, Michigan.
All right. Thank you very much. Wow. We need more good guys. Thank you very much. And what do you do for work, sir?
My name's Eric, and I'm a deputy prosecutor.
How about a round of applause for the 35? Stay with me 1 second. If you are under 30, you can stay on the stage. Under 30. What you got? Move together, right? And then there was 5. I'm just curious. How old are you?
21.
Oh, my goodness.
I just turned 21 in December.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much for being with us. Be careful getting down. I just want to get some ages, and I'm going to keep maybe one of you on for a lab experiment.
I'm 27.
27. Thank you very much. You can step down. Hello, Taylor. How old? Are you anxious?
A little bit. No.
How old are you?
25.
Oh, very good. So impressive. You can maybe step down. Thank you very much. How old?
25.
How old?
27.
Okay. Why don't you step down, Sir Daniel? I just need Charlie here. Step up, Charlie. How about a round of applause for Charlie? Let's step forward a little bit so we can get in the camera there. Charlie, I'm going to show you a technique. Do you like these communication techniques? Are they helpful?
Yes.
Okay. And I'll give you a couple more, and we could share with the group. It'd be my last little bit today. If you would help me with that, that would be great.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's good. Would you pull my sleeve on my jacket? Just help me take this off. I want to show everybody a technique that we call psychologists call it. They call it modeling. modeling, modeling. And so what we do is, if we stand like this, and I notice you've kind of, it's okay, keep your hands where they were. They were kind of crossed. You've defaulted to this kind of position here. So if I was modeling you and we were talking, I might casually, not right away, but I would just casually come down here like this, right? And then if you moved again, nobody does that, man. Okay, now the hands behind the back. Again, very gently and sincerely. I might just do this. After a while, it becomes too transparent, too obvious. I got to change it up a little bit. So if I was trying to develop rapport with you or influence you in some way, say you're a member of my club and I need you to sign on to a project, I might try to do the reverse modeling. I might get you to try to model me, and I would do that by maybe doing something called the thinker pose as we're talking. And then what would you do if you were going to model me?
If I was modeling you, I'd probably shift here. I might come all the way up.
That's right. And it doesn't have to be exactly what I do, but approximately. You know, you could do it, just do it quickly and come back down again. But anything in that direction that moves toward me is a good idea. So you could do this with all kinds of things, right? If I'm smiling, what would you do?
Smile back.
Probably smile back. And you know, you could do it with anything, really. If anybody does something at all, you could do it, Charlie.
I'm kind of curious how long you can stand on one leg.
Longer than you, baby. A round of applause to Charlie, everybody. Thank you, baby. I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, my time is up. Ladies and gentlemen, from the great state of California, Bill Tobin. Thank you very much.